Well, it's a new year, and that means that Gucci is going to come out with a new fragrance to add to the Guilty line. For 2022, we have Guilty Pour Homme Parfum. I ordered a bottle of this new scent to try out and see if the brand is going to add anything new to it, or is it just going to be more of the same? How does Guilty Parfum smell? Does it actually last long? Is it worth a try at all? So the notes in this one include juniper, orange flower, cistus, lavender, nutmeg, lemon, patchouli, and musk, and some wood. So with my initial reaction, immediately upon spraying, I can already tell that the closest comparison to Guilty Parfum is the now discontinued Guilty Intense. They aren't the same fragrance, but I do get a lot of the same DNA. Lemon, lavender, patchouli, orange flower. We get cistus here instead of amber, and nutmeg instead of coriander. But the structure is different, and this new release is much smoother and natural than the old Intense. It's a much better blend. Guilty Parfum is fresh and aromatic early on. The lemon note isn't a full juicy fruit, more like the peel itself. Very light actually. Nutmeg and juniper are big players in the opening act. It has a colder and woodier feeling coming from the base. I love the nutmeg and juniper combo, playing off the usual guilty notes. The opening is probably my favorite aspect of this fragrance so far. Yes, you do get plenty of the signature lavender and orange flower note, but that's more later on, and really it's not to the same extent as the others in the Guilty series. One note that will really come into its own is the cistus. Basically a labdanum note that gives Guilty Parfum its ambery qualities. Not as heavy as the amber note in Intense, and it's just of a higher quality. The dry down will still have some of that cold freshness, but much of the nutmeg and juniper will have burned off completely. The latter stages are about musk, patchouli, cistus, and the floral notes. Lavender and musk with the amber patchouli blend and some remaining aromatic notes. Still does have a bit of a spicy finish, but feels more musky and woody than anything. I like it. It's not super amazing to me, but I find it very easy to wear this cologne. So moving on to sillage, longevity, and versatility. The sillage here is on the upper edge of moderate at its peak. It's not going to leave a huge trail, but it's very noticeable in the first hour or so. After that, it's pretty middle of the road and devolving into something that will sit pretty close to the skin. I would have liked more of a powerhouse, but this Gucci ain't it. Not bad, it's just not a monster. With these initial tests, Guilty Parfum lasts somewhere in the 7 to 8 hour range on my skin. Again, not insane, but still very worthwhile. I'll keep trying it out to see if I can do more, but that's about what it's looking like and what I expect. Seasonally, I do think that this one will give you plenty of opportunity to wear it. I would avoid the hottest days, but in the cold or more moderate temperatures, you'll be good to go. Autumn through spring for most folks, depending on what sort of climate you personally live in. This one is very versatile and can be worn pretty much anywhere without offending anybody or feeling out of place. It's got a more mature and refined aroma than something like Guilty EDT, and older guys who like this series may want to go with this Guilty, if any. Daytime or nightlife, it's not a club beast, but one that you could easily wear, and one that I will wear to a bar or lounge to have a few drinks, dressed up or even casual. Guilty Parfum is a good cologne to have in the rotation. Overall, do I like Guilty Parfum? I do. I think it's one of the better releases of the series, especially out of the additions that actually stick to the main DNA. Intense was one of my favorites, which I still have a mini bottle of, and this one I might like a tad more than that, though I'll still have to keep testing it out. It's not a complete lavender bomb or strongly citrus. You do get somewhat of a new direction with this version of Guilty, and the juniper and nutmeg are awesome. Not too much in the floral notes, but a solid use of musk and wood in the dry down. It's a very balanced scent as a whole. It's not a complete love for me, but one that I like a good deal so far. I do wish that it was a little bit more powerful, but it still is decent for what it is. If you like the Guilty line, this is one to check out. I'm glad that I now have a replacement for Guilty Intense, and one that is cleaner and more well put together. I was afraid this might be like Guilty EDP that has a strong start and then pretty disappointing in the dry down, but however, I think the back end of this Parfum actually holds up pretty well.